Our next speaker was born in Hollywood, in California. She graduated from the Stanford University. She was pursuing her PhD when she moved to India and made Rishikesh her home. Sadhvi Bhagawati Saraswati ji. A big round of applause to Sadhvi ji as she's made this journey all the way from Rishikesh to be with us and to speak to all of us today. She was officially initiated into the order of Sannyas in the year 2000 by her guru, His Holiness Swami Chidanand Saraswati ji, who couldn't be with us today. He's had a fall, unfortunately, but has sent his love to all the teacher delegates and to all of us this evening. Sadhvi ji will address all of us. Sai Ram.
Param Puja Babaji, all of our honorable and distinguished people on the dais, and all of my sisters and brothers, the teachers, the students, the devotees, the sevaks, and everyone who has come together here to be here today. It is such an incredible honor and joy to be with you today, in any case, on any day, for any reason, any occasion, no occasion. Being here would be a blessing. But to be here for the Teachers' Convention is a very special blessing. And to hear about the emphasis being placed on values and value education. This is what our world needs today. As she mentioned, I graduated from Stanford University. I had the best of the education, the shiksha, that you can get in 4 walls. But it wasn't until I came to India, it wasn't until I stood on the banks of Mother Ganga, it wasn't until I was embraced by this divine culture that I actually learned anything of meaning and depth in life. शिक्षा बहुत जरूरी है, लेकिन शिक्षा के साथ संस्कार भी बहुत जरूरी है. These sanskaras, these values, this is what our world needs today. There's a beautiful story that I love of 3 men who were in a boat in the ocean one beautiful evening. They've hired a boatman to take them out for a journey, a boat ride, moonlight boat ride. And as they're in the boat, one of the men is a mathematician. And in the boat, he says to the boatman, "Tell me, boatman, do you know advanced calculus? Can you do trigonometry?" And the boatman says, "No." He says, "I'm not educated in that way." He said, "I only know how to take God's name in the night before I sleep, and again in the morning when I rise, before my meals and during the day." So the mathematician says, "Well then, at least 30% of your life has gone in vain." Next with them was a scientist. So the scientist says, "Well, all right, so you don't know math, but you must know science. You must know Newton's laws of physics." So the boatman says, "No, I'm not educated in that way. I only know how to give more than I receive. I only know how to see the divine in all wherever I go. And the scientist says, well, then at least 40% of your life has gone in vain. And lastly, the philosopher says to the boatman, Chalo theek hai, you don't know math, you don't know science, but kam se kam you must know philosophy. Whether it's Plato and Aristotle and Socrates, whether it's Vedanta, you must know some philosophy. So the boatman closes his eyes and he enters this beautiful meditative trance. And he says, no, I'm not educated in that way. So the philosopher says, well, then at least 50% of your life has gone in vain. And at that moment, a storm comes and the waves get very, very high. And a wave carries the boat high up into the sky. And the boatman understands this boat is going to capsize and we are all going to be in the water. He says to his passengers, do you know how to swim? No. They all cry. And as the wave brings this boat upside down into the water, the boatman watches very sadly as the mathematician and the scientist and the philosopher drown. And he says, I think 100% of your lives have gone in vain. I say this today at a teachers' convention because math is very important. Without math, we would have none of all of the incredible research, the inventions, the insights that we have. Without science, these microphones would not work, the light would not work, none of this would work. The cameras wouldn't work. None of us could have gotten here without a car, an airplane, a train. And philosophy, of course, is beautiful. And yet, it's not enough. In the ocean of life, that which actually keeps us afloat, that which anchors us, is our sanskaras. That is what knowing how to swim means, is to swim in the ocean of life, which our values give us, our heritage, our roots. This is what a value education is about. Aristotle said so beautifully, an education of the mind without an education of the heart is no education at all. So, to my beautiful brother from Rajasthan, जिन्होंने हमको बताया about this beautiful Annapurna कार्यक्रम जो आपने बाबा की कृपा से राजस्थान में शुरू किया, आप ऐसे मत सोचिएगा कि आप केवल उनकी बच्चों को खाना खिला रहे हैं, बल्कि आप उनको प्यार खिला रहे हैं, आप उनको बाबा की आशीर्वाद खिला रहे हैं. आप केवल उनकी भूख को दूर नहीं कर रहे हैं, बल्कि उनकी दुख को भी दूर कर रहे हैं इसी कार्यक्रम से. And that is the power of the sanskaras. That is the power with shiksha ke saath diksha hona chahiye. Shiksha ke saath sanskar hona chahiye. Because when the waves of life come, that is what keeps us afloat. Tragically today, you hear so many people say, oh my God, what to do with our children? They're going astray. Our children wo sunte nahi hai. They don't listen. They don't obey. They don't follow orders. They're so impatient these days. We hear this all the time. Abhi, there's not time to go into the details of why this is happening, but one important point that I want to mention to you all as teachers, as educators. Yes, due to so much of what's happening in the world, primarily television, commercials, the smartphones, video games, our children's brains are changing. And they're changing in such a way that normal life starts to feel a little slow for them. The answer to that is not to get frustrated. The answer to that is not to scold and to hit and to punish. That's what's easy to do. But what's required today, because we cannot rewind history, we cannot go back to the time when our children didn't have smartphones, or our children didn't have video games, or didn't have TVs. But today what is required is an education system born out of creativity. We are not looking for the future of the world to create a generation that is simply obedient. That's not what our world needs. This is not the sit down, shut up, and speak when spoken to generation that our world needs. Our world needs a generation that is touched, that is connected, that has the sanskars, that knows they are loved. This is the beauty of Babaji's teaching, love all, serve all. He doesn't say, love all adults, serve all adults. He doesn't say, love all who are obedient, love all who are quiet in class, love all who do everything you say. No, love all, serve all. So the challenge that you as teachers today have is to come up with a way of serving that is full of love, not just for these children, but for the world they are going to go out and serve. Not a world where they are going to be cogs in the wheel of the status quo, but a world where they are going to bring about that light, that peace, that Vasudev Kutumbakam, that is our culture, that is our heritage. That is the best definition of make in India that I have heard yet. And not just make in India, but make India. Last, I have so much to share, but there's so many speakers, I don't want to go on anymore. Just one more thing to share. There's a true story of a school in New York, in a very bad area of New York, a gang-ridden, crime-ridden, drug-ridden area of New York, where the vast majority of the children grow up to be drug addicts, criminals, homeless people on the streets, alcoholics. And a group of psychologists, scientists, were watching this area for many, many, many decades. And they found something very interesting. They found that, yes, most of these children grew up to be criminals, to be drug addicts, to be homeless, except there was this one group of children who, when they went further into it, they found that these children had all gone to the same school. And when they went and they interviewed these children many, many years later, who had all now graduated high school, graduated college, become successful professionals, they said to them, "What was it that gave you that chance?" Every single one of these students gave the exact same answer. And the answer was, they mentioned one teacher, the same teacher. Every child mentioned the same teacher's name. So then the scientists naturally went and found that teacher. Ki usme kya chamak hai? What miracles are there in this teacher that she took children who were supposed to be drug addicts and criminals and turned them into positive, productive, light-filled members of society. By this time, the teacher was very old. But she said to them, they asked her, "Ki, what did you do? What did you teach them? What can we implement and follow?" And this teacher said, "I don't know. I just loved those kids." Love is the miracle. And this is the miracle of what Puja Babaji has left us in his life, in his legacy, and in his continuous presence here today. It is a life, a legacy, a presence, and a present of love. And when we take that love and we share it, that is when we create the true miracles that our world needs today. You are the miracles. The children in your classes are the miracles. And today we are here having the gift of being in the presence of the miracle of love. Thank you. And lastly, from the banks of Ganga, Puja Swamiji has sent, as he couldn't be here physically, has sent a symbol of his love for Puja Babaji, a mala made out of ilachi cardamom, which is ever fragrant, because your fragrance is on and on and on, touching, teaching, and healing all wherever you go. And the color of ilachi is green. Green for the future and green for the planet. So I will offer this beautiful mala to Puja Babaji. I would also ask our Sri D.P. Gargji, who has been associated with Parmarth and is one of the trustees for decades and decades and decades, who's here in Bangalore today, to also come up and to offer this mala on behalf of Puja Swamiji to Puja Babaji.